Welcome back to EndIsEnglishNotes.com, where today we're going to look at Act 2, Scene 3 of Romeo and Juliet. So in the previous scene, Romeo has just left Juliet's house, or the Capulet residence. He has come to seek Friar Lawrence and ask him to help him get married to Juliet. Okay, so we're first introduction of Friar Lawrence. Okay, he's like a monk, a priest-like figure. Okay, so we're first introduced to Friar Lawrence as he spends the morning collecting poisonous weeds and medicinal flowers. Baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. He continues telling the audience that the earth's plants can be used for good or for evil, but if they are misused or abused, it will go wrong. Within the infant rind of this weak flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. So within each plant, there is poison, but yet there is also medicine. There's medicinal uses for this. And he's going to then compare it to humans that we have good and bad within us. He compares plants to humans who can be both good and bad. Two such opposed kings encamp them still, in man as well as herbs, grace and goodwill. So he personifies the good and evil within both humans and plants. They're like two kings fighting for supremacy. Okay, you'll often think about in cartoons, good and evil are represented on the shoulder. There's an angel and a devil, one telling you to do good, one telling you to do bad. So what Shakespeare is telling us through Friar Lawrence is that flowers and herbs are just like humans. We can be both good or we can be evil. Okay, and so it's up to us to decide which one to use. He is simply telling us that humans have the capacity to be good and evil. It's up to us to which part we choose to act on. I think you remember there's a similar sentiment in Harry Potter, okay, where he's told that both good and evil resides within him, and it's the fact that he chooses good all the time makes him different from Voldemort. Okay, Romeo comes to meet the friar. Romeo enters and the friar is worried because he thinks that Romeo has stayed out all night and is worried about him. So you have to remember again, the friar thinks that Romeo was still in love with Rosaline and that he's been out all night. Romeo responds by saying the sweeter rest was mine. So basically, he's a bit too happy, and the friar is a little worried about that. So the friar is shocked and is worried that he may have slept with Rosaline, which would have been forbidden at the time as they weren't married. So Romeo tells them that he has forgotten her. I have forgot that name and that name's woe. So not only has he forgotten about Rosaline, he's forgotten about all the woe she caused him, the heartbreak. So he's simply forgotten her within one day. Romeo tells him he was at a feast with his enemy and that he has been wounded by love. He tells the friar that he can cure him. So the way he can cure him is by marrying him and Juliet. So he's been wounded by love. Again, this personification of love, or love, a lot of metaphors used to describe love. So he's been wounded. This time he's been wounded by Cupid's arrow again, but in this case he's happy to be wounded by it. So he asks the friar to marry them. So Romeo tells the friar that he's in love with Juliet and that she loves him and they wish to get married. The friar is shocked by this sudden romance and tells Romeo that young men don't know what love is. Young men's love then lies not truly in their hearts but in their eyes. And this is, again, reiterating what was said back in the prologue in Act 2, at the start. It said Romeo and Juliet were bewitched by the charm of looks. Okay, and again, Shakespeare highlighting here how young people fall in love with looks as opposed to personality or how a person behaves. So they fall in love with their looks, and it's important. Shakespeare's making a point here. He's trying to send out a message that love can do strange things to people, and it's the charm of looks that is has a big impact at that age. The friar is not happy with a sudden change, but Romeo insists that it is different because Juliet loves him, unlike Rosaline. I pray thee chide not, so don't give out to me. Her I love now, so I love Juliet now. Doth grace for grace and love for love allow? The other did not so. So Juliet loves me back, Rosaline didn't. It's different. So the friar agrees to the marriage. Romeo finally convinces the friar to marry them, but he also has an ulterior motive for agreeing to the marriage. For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancour to pure love. So the friar thinks that maybe Romeo and Juliet getting married could work out well for the entire city of Verona, that we may finally be able to put this feud to bed. The scene finishes with a word of warning from the friar about the speed at which Romeo is conducting this love affair. Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast. So people who run fast stumble. He's basically saying, take your time. And again, and this is relation to love and relationships, he says, take your time, don't run. He says, people who run stumble. This again is an example of foreshadowing and may hint that something bad is going to happen as a result of the hasty marriage. So foreshadow and dramatic irony are used continuously throughout this play. Okay, so that's Act 2, Scene 3. So if you like today's video, please hit like and subscribe for more Leaving Cert English video notes. Also, go to endasEnglishNote.com where you'll find loads of great resources to help improve your grades in English. Thank you.